Come on, you fucker. Just get... Oh shit! Andrew, I got it working. Come over here.
What?
Andrew.
What? You got it?
Dude, I got it working. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Hello. Anyone out there?
Hello.
This is Jason and Andrew. We've been stuck inside. And Andrew, look. The red thing's going blinking. Shit.
Holy shit! I can't believe it worked. We fucking spliced together a radio and a Betamax player.
Dude, like whoever thought this would work?
How much tape we got? Is it a full tape?
It's a full tape. It's a full tape. Like it's going right now.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, hello. Can anybody hear us?
Dude, how long has this been? We've been working on this for how long?
If an average movie is 2 hours and we've watched about 150 of them, I mean, we've had to have been here for 3 months now.
3 months. 3 months gone.
I mean, that's when we got the pandemic hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were just holy crap.
We haven't seen people for so long except each other. We were just out when we heard about this, and we sought cover wherever we could. And here we are.
We just dived into the video store because God knows when you hear pandemic, you got to get inside. You know what that means, right? You know what pandemic means.
Oh, yeah. It means there's fucking zombies out there, or you have creatures lurking in a dense fog or mist. I mean, like, yeah, we knew what was coming. We've seen enough movies to know you don't fuck around with this stuff.
You got to get inside and board that shit up. So anyone out there listening, what happened was the virus hit America and we heard about it and we just jumped into a store as fast as possible, boarded up, and we are safe. We hope someone else out there is alive, and if you are, please come help us. We've been living on video store snacks for 3 months. I really want a burger.
Oh my God, I want a burger so bad because you know what? I don't think I can eat another dark chocolate Twix or drink one more Pitch Black Mountain Dew.
I know. These Mr. T cereal are really not cutting it anymore.
I mean, I will continue eating and drinking this because I really do love it. But for the moment, I mean, we have a full stock of water, but everybody knows you don't buy water from a movie rental place. You get yourself a treat.
And you get this surge. So
you have to make sure you have something to keep us going. And, you know, this has been, we've been occupying this now. And I can't believe, even with it being boarded up, you know, no one else has thought to come to the movie store and just hunker down. I mean, this is the place you want to be in a pandemic. You've got entertainment. You've got all the food you want to eat. I mean, there's not really much else, but at least you're not bored because there's a mess load of movies. And honestly, for the first 3 months, it was great. We had every blockbuster at our disposal, and we've seen every major motion picture. We watched the AFI Top 100. We've seen them.
Twice. We went through it twice.
I know, but now we're only left with the bad stuff, and we need help now because these movies.
I don't know how much longer we'll be able to survive. Like this is why we started making this contraption, this Betamax contraption. I really hope someone's hearing this. If you can hear it, please come bring Burger King. If Burger King still exists. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Andrew, how many people do you think are still alive out there?
I'm going to say not many. I mean, when it hit that alert, and you know, I looked off behind us right before we ducked into the theater.
Yeah.
And I saw something rising from the river. I swear it has devoured so many people, and we are safe because we have kept low, we've kept to the dark, and we've kept quiet. I can only imagine. I don't know if you ever hear it, but I feel like it's on a very certain day, you know, it's like we go for a certain amount of time and then I hear noises and they sound like roars or something, and something is eating these people, and when people venture out, they're getting caught.
We have to get out of here. But I mean, I'm terrified to leave because as soon as we want to leave, it feels like it's a morning.
Right.
Like once a week where that roar comes and just devours something right next to the video store. I'm not taking that chance.
When I look out the window, the windows are all white. I can't see. Is it fog? I don't know. I can't see outside. I don't want to go out there.
Well, we're blocking one of the windows with the little man Tate standee. So
That's true.
at least someone will know we're inside because it says help on little man Tate's face. So obviously that is a good enough reason to check inside. So
I think
if
so.
someone's out there, I think they're going to find us.
I mean, we thought about putting, some of those Elvira cutouts in the window too, but you don't want those to get sun damage. Those are kind of
No,
you want to keep those inside.
that's in my room.
Yeah, room. You mean the little hidden area we've converted into a room? I feel like we're in like a really shitty version of Dawn of the Dead. They were walled up in a mall and they had all that cool stuff to do. We're just in like an air vent.
And all these VHS right here. I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
So many.
Andrew, speaking of VHS, why don't we talk about this movie that we just watched? Just something to keep our sanity. We've already gone through all the good films, so what did we just finish watching?
Yeah, it was really a Sophie's choice there, trying to figure out which one we wanted to subject ourselves to keep our sanity.
You watched Sophie's Choice?
Well, I mean, we watched it together. Remember, we had that good cry.
Oh God.
Yeah.
How can I forget?
She chose.
It was a good choice. Not the best, but
I mean, yeah, it wasn't called Sophie's Best Choice.
yeah.
But
That was the sequel, right?
Yes.
Sophie chooses again. Better this time.
Yes, Sophie does it better.
Sophie does it better.
But we could do no better, so we ended up watching the movie Vice Academy from 1989 by director Rick Sloan. This movie is one of, to say
That's
it's
right. It certainly is.
Yes, it is a movie. It does have some, I guess you could say, big names in it, depending on what circles you run in. Linnea Quigley was in it, who is known from her, most notably, I'd say, from Return of the Living Dead, Part 1. Ginger Lynn, the former adult star, was in it. And then some other people named Karen Russell and Ken Abraham, who I've never heard of.
I never heard of Ken Abraham either, but I do remember seeing his name as an editor. So I didn't know he was an actor. And honestly, when I was watching it, I thought it was, what's his face, Craig Sheffer from the lead actor from Nightbreed.
Yes.
And I was like, why is he so bad in this one? Because Nightbreed was awesome.
Yeah, Nightbreed was amazing, but yes, he is no Nightbreed. That is for darn sure.
he's like day down breed.
His role in this movie was so pointless. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
So, this movie is something. To just give you a glimpse into the window of what it is, this movie surrounds a classroom of potential police academy applicants. They're going through Vice Academy, which I guess, as we learn through the movie, is a female-dominated school with only one man in the group.
I don't suppose any of you have excuses for your tardiness?
Class started without us?
I've heard that one before.
And they are going through school, and they have to before they graduate, they have to get 10 arrests.
Now, you all realize that graduation is just a few weeks away, and each of you must make 10 arrests in order to get a position on the force.
Now, I found it very interesting that they were in school, but they were allowed to be arresting people. That didn't seem to mix, but hey, not my...
You got to do the job before you can do the job. That just makes sense to me, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we wear many hats. I guess I get it. I
love wearing hats.
You got to make less with more, or make more with less. So they're training these women, and they're coaching them in how to catch criminals in a very specific market. I'm finding it's really they're only catching criminals that they can get by posing as a prostitute or a porn star.
Frequently, you may have to pose as prostitutes when undercover.
Before we get too far into this, what is the movie about? If you were to give me an elevator pitch, what is this movie about?
Linnea Quigley is in school to become a cop. She needs 10 arrests to graduate, and she does it there.
I think that was actually on the jacket of the VHS. I think that was on the back.
It's pretty catchy, you know.
Directed, produced, and edited by Rick Sloan. So,
I mean, so I did pull up the cover. I'm looking at it now because it was within arm's reach, and the tagline on this movie is "Where nice girls become vice girls."
I had not seen this movie before we watched it just now, and that was the very first thing I read on the cover. Like before I even read Vice Girls, I read the tagline first. And I'm burping up Surge, and I think that set in motion the kind of context of what the movie was going to be about. It's like obviously this is going to be sexist. It's going to be really bad, tongue in cheek. And it was everything that I was expecting it to be and far less.
It lived up to everything I assumed it would be. When I judge a book by its cover, normally there's more substance, there's something surprising. This was pretty much it. Yeah, you're right. It's exactly what I planned to get. I had not seen it before either, so I will say I laughed a lot through this.
It was funny. So let's start off. So there is no opening title sequence in the very beginning, like so many movies of this era in the 80s. Wanted to tell you exactly who the producer was right in the beginning, but this one opens up actually in the middle of a scene, pretty much.
Yeah.
Two drug dealers are in a car who have obviously never seen a movie before or understand what human interaction is.
You think I got nothing better to do than sit around and wait all night?
Hey, sorry, Snake. I just want to make sure I wasn't followed.
And they're trying to do a drug deal, and the guy pulls out a Ziploc bag because, that's what you do in movies.
And it's a gallon Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
It's a gallon Ziploc bag.
For not that much of the baking soda that he rubs on his teeth and says, this is good shit.
Top grade. I can make a killing on this. How much more can you get me?
As much as you want, babe. I got a new source.
He could have fit that in one of those, like, the half snack pack where you're like, you put Cheerios in for kids.
Well, I don't think craft services had those, so they used what they had.
The guy that's looking to buy gets into the car with the drug dealer, right?
Snake, yeah.
And the ADR work in here is just
it's fantastic.
It's so off sync, it's so monotonous. And there's just some dialogue between Snake and the guy looking to buy where they're having a conversation, and then he says, "Show me the stuff."
Shut up. Let me see the stuff.
Which is in every movie ever. And but the response was the drug dealer goes, "All right, I see where you're coming from."
Yeah, right. Like,
what does that mean?
Right. I see where you're coming from.
Oh, there were so many funny lines like that in this movie that kind of made me do a double take where it's like they're trying to write dialogue where it would sound natural. Like that. It's like, show me the stuff. All right, I see where you're coming from. It's like, just, no, fucking cut that out. Just show them the stuff, move on.
Right. And the babe conversation,
oh,
he kept calling him babe, and he's like, "Don't call me babe. I've told you before." And he says, "All right, I remember when you told me that one time."
Top grade. I can make a killing on this. How much more can you get me?
As much as you want, babe. I got a new source. Unlimited.
Don't call me babe. I told you about that before. I hate it.
Gotcha. No problem. I remember you telling me that before.
I had to pause the movie because I was laughing so hard.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Like, that to me is like walking into the cantina scene in Star Wars.
Yes.
There is so much backstory here that we're never going to be told. I need to know more.
In my head, I'm just, they were in a relationship that went sour, but they both love cocaine. So, they remain acquaintances.
They remain business acquaintances. But yeah, it was like really heavy-handed that they were lovers.
Absolutely.
And the one guy was not out of the closet yet, so he was like, "Don't call me that. I ain't no queer."
Well, and right before we're about to unpack that, that's when Ginger Lynn walks up and she's like, "I want to party."
I'm looking to party.
Yeah, well, there's no party here, so why don't you just beat it?
Well, that's too bad. Maybe we could start our own.
She took that a little too far where she just started dancing. Now, I don't know about you. I've never been arrested. I've had a couple speeding tickets, but no police person has ever danced on the side of my car.
Well, Andrew, let me tell you, you are missing out, sir, because the few times I have been pulled over, every cop has always danced. And it's very alluring when a 300-pound man is rubbing his hairy face on the side of my window.
So then do you tip your license and registration or license and insurance in his cleavage, or like how do you make that transfer, I guess?
Well, so when he asks you for your license or registration, you should always hand him a gallon Ziploc bag of cocaine, because that's what you do.
I mean, they're always taking them from other people, so I just assume they're collecting. You make a very good point. Yeah,
they're like Pokemon. You can't just catch them all. They're like Pokemon and Pringles.
All right, so we jump in that she's doing her dancing, and then he pulls out that giant bag of coke, and the scene kind of just, if I remember correctly, it just kind of ends with her just going, "You're under arrest."
Ooh, I knew you could help me out.
Yeah, I just might let you party with me.
There's just one little thing.
What's that, sweetness?
You're busted. Get your hands up now.
You gotta be kidding.
Because that was supposed to be the reveal that she wasn't a real prostitute. Like, we as the audience were supposed to go, oh, what? And I think there are a few moments in this film that we were supposed to react the way the director thought we were going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And those reactions never really happened the way I think they were supposed to happen. There's a few other parts in the film where it's like, this part's supposed to be funny, but it's not. And the parts that were supposed to be a little bit serious were really fucking funny.
This was that intro in a horror movie that sets up that first kill. This is that part before the credits roll where it sets the tone of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's like you have certain movies that do this extremely, extremely well, where there's what might seem like a non-sequential or an out of place murder that happens. Right. And then you get the credits, and then we start establishing things. This did not achieve that in any way, shape, or form, because there was no reoccurring plot with those characters, really.
Well, they come back in. I didn't realize it at first until I saw the credits that those drug dealers are in the last scene.
Really?
They are in the warehouse at the end. But let's get back to that.
Yeah. We'll put a pin in that one.
So the opening neon pink credits. It was like this. The font and the color choice of the text instantly reminded me. It just flooded my head with USA Up All Night.
And that's exactly what this is. It was made for USA Up All Night. So you have a very good eye.
Boys and girls, wraps it up for yet another edition of USA Up All Night.
I mean, like I think anyone of our generation kind of grew up with Up All Night, either Gilbert Godfrey or the Sex Bomb, which is, what's her name?
Reminiscing with Rhonda when USA Up All Night returns after these messages.
So after we get those titles, we really jump into the movie, quote unquote, starts. Where we see...
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I had to pause it again because I was like, what the fuck? Like, did I miss something? Did it skip? Where's Act 1?
No, it's not needed. So we jump into the movie, and we see two women and a man running through what we can only assume is an obstacle course. And we get to the classroom. They're going to school. They get to the classroom. And now let me just quickly explain something. They are dressed in very casual clothes. So you think, okay, they're probably in a public high school. We don't really know who these people are just yet. They get to class. Everybody's sitting in class. It is a female-dominated class. There is one man in this class. Everyone else is a girl. And they're all wearing dresses and very casual, skimpy clothes. The teacher is dressed in a police uniform.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, Miss Devonshire.
It's definitely a Halloween costume.
Yes.
we find out through this that they are in police school, or Vice Academy, the name of the movie.
Ding.
So, but why would they not be required to wear uniforms? I don't know much about the different districts of the police academy. But I can only imagine that there is not one specific section of a police academy that is only focused on prostitution rings and stings. And it seems like that's what they set that up as. And in doing so, they set the tone of the movie really quickly, I feel, taking the first scene out. When the teacher calls the man up to teach the class how to intimidate someone and how you respond to someone being intimidated. It's like, okay, we're gonna see, they're going through some training here. Okay, this is gonna be great. So she calls him up, and he points the fake gun at one of the girls and says,
"Oh my God!" And he delivers it like a rock star.
Now, Dwayne, you be the assailant. Take this gun and act threatening.
Your money or your life?
Dude, it's so flat. And then her response is to take her top off.
Now, what would you do in your defense? Oh, no, that is hardly the way to do it.
Which is the obvious police choice of tactics.
I mean, that seems like it's the steady and way to go. I mean, she did get the gun from him.
Right, tried and tested.
But granted, he's kind of like, he's wearing a football jersey, but he doesn't look very strong.
Okay, so you brought up the exact point that I kept thinking about through the whole movie. Dwayne is the guy's name.
Yeah, Dwayne.
And he's so interesting that you forgot his name, and I totally respect that. Dwayne is this meathead, idiot, sexist, rapist in training.
Yes.
And he is, like, they had to put him in a football shirt. It's not even a jersey. It's a football shirt.
Yes.
And it's so the audience can go, that's me. I'm in this movie with all these babes and ladies and boobs.
Yes.
And it's just like this meathead bullshit machismo shit that ran rampant in the 80s. And here is like the end all be all carbon copy, like nth degree. Like when you record a VHS to VHS to VHS, he's like the 12th generation of VHS copies. And it's just terrible because like you've seen this in every other movie, but since he's literally the only male who's not literally a rapist in the movie, it's really hard to think of him as a protagonist.
He's like disappointed that he's not. We knew who he was right away, and everything you're saying is so spot on. And it's summed up in his first line when the teacher says,
would anyone like to tell us where we left off in our last lecture? Yes, Dwayne?
We were about to watch some X-rated videos so we could study the craft in which they're made.
No, I'm sorry. That's not it.
And Dwayne, being the piece of shit douchebag that he is, he says, very like how I would talk to you, he goes, oh, we were going to study some X-rated videos so we can see how they're made. You're in police academy.
With a room full of women who are probably taking this seriously.
Like, he said it so seriously. And why is that your expectation of the school? Like, oh man, I'm going to trick the teacher to have us watch one of these today.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb here. If the school is any indication of the movie that we watched, of everything that happened at the school, Dwayne might be onto something. I'm just saying that the very next scene of the training in some high school field that they randomly selected at the last second because there's traffic in the background throughout every scene. It's just very indicative of the filmmaking process as a whole, not just the story, but like just the lack of care they gave to everything.
I got the very real sense that this was like almost like a guerrilla filmmaking. Like they did not have permission to shoot in many of the locations that they shot in. So it was a one and done type situation. So Dwayne does get his comeuppance a little bit at the end of the classroom scene. When, the teacher wants to teach them about a pressure point that is in all men, and it's his dick.
A kick to this area will easily make him release his grip on any object.
And so every girl in the class comes up and knees him in the balls. And what's supposed to be funny is just really cringy because of the sound effects they used.
Yes.
Very good. Next. No, not quite. Go to the end of the line and try again. We'll do this all day until each of you gets it right. Very good. Yes, keep the line moving. Good girl. Excellent.
I think they were going for a laugh here, and instead what they went for was the, hey, we got a pack of sound effects, let's use all of them.
Yeah.
And there's just like every bongo, bingo, ding, dang song sound effect that they could find on this record that they bought for $0.25 at the thrift store, they threw in here.
And they held the shot the whole time until every girl that was shown in that classroom had done that. And the teacher commented after every one.
Yes, and then speaking of every girl in the classroom, whenever there's like a group shot of the people in the class or group shot of people out in the balcony or on the training field, there's always one girl who is right behind the main actors. And you can tell like she had been in movies before because like she is very pretty. Mm-hmm. But you can also tell that she's never had a speaking role from the way she reacts to people. And I swear to God, the first time I saw it, I was like, is that Jared Leto? No.
I was so taken aback by just trying to figure out who the main character in this movie was.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Because we open with Ginger Lynn making her very ethical arrest.
You're busted. Get your hands up now.
We find out she's essentially the Jessie Spano. She's the teacher's pet. Her dad's the police
Draco
chief.
Malfoy.
Yeah, she's Draco Malfoy. She's a total bitch. Her dad is a police chief. She's real snarky and smarmy. But then we have Linnea Quigley and Dwayne and the other girl. I can't remember their names.
Denise, hold on. It'll come to me through the magicness of Shawnee,
and then was Linnea. She was Dee Dee.
She was Dee Dee / something fluffer.
I'd like you to meet the actress who's auditioning lead opposite of you in our next film. Chucky Long meet Dee Dee Fluffer.
Later on.
That's right.
Really good undercover name.
Oh, God. So we get to her, and they're, like, at odds. So Ginger Lynn's all like, oh, well, I made an arrest last night, and yada, yada. So after the ball-kicking scene for Dwayne, they all head into the hallway where, and this was one of my favorite framing shots of the whole movie, they walk into the hallway of the classroom, and the police chief is just standing in an empty room, staring at a phone on a shelf. There's literally nothing else in this room. It's just an old rotary phone on a shelf. And
he's wearing a mechanic's suit with like a fake badge on and like one little patch on the shoulder.
Right.
Because someone had seen that once on Chips. You know, they had seen that on a cop TV show. I'm like, that's what a cop looks like. Let's dress him up like that.
Yes. And then he's like, oh, the girls are here, as they, you know, because all the girls leave the class center at once. So he says, oh, daughter, Ginger Lynn, we need to do a lineup for you to verify.
Right there in the
bad guys.
Hallway.
Yeah. So in the hallway, he pulls in 5 murderers. So now let's also remember, Ginger Lynn made the arrest.
She knows.
She made the arrest. She then whispers on a sidebar, like she cups her hand over her mouth and says to her police chief dad, which ones do I choose?
Which one is it, Daddy?
The 2 on the left.
Maybe I just need a closer look. Those are the guys, right there.
Well, because I think that's indicating that she's not bright. Like she can't do this without her dad.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you there, and that's very But then once he tells her, and then she goes, oh, it was those 2 on the left. Like in any good cop movie, they just run out the door. and escape police custody as they run by a group of women and one man who are training to be in the police force. Nobody tried to stop them. They just run out the door of what looked like an old screen printing business.
So that's something else that caught my attention is all the indoor shots look really similar, like paint-wise. Yes. So I'm wondering if later on when they go to different locations, I'm wondering if it was all done in like this like medical office, because it looks very like rundown shop. Hurry up, let's throw up some white paint and make it look new. And with the classroom, you only see two corners of the classroom. So obviously it was like a set. Speaking of the classroom, really quick, I wanted to bring up the street signs on the wall.
Oh, I didn't notice these.
Like you didn't like usually in a teaching classroom, you have some kind of motivational posters. You have something to like help educate you while you're sitting there, daydreaming off. But there was one sign that I kept looking at that said visitors must park outside. Who is this sign for in the classroom? Like they just found a bunch of signs in the garbage and threw them up and said, this looks legit. No one's going to read it. It looks fine.
Either that or, and now I'm starting to think, maybe they shot it in like a driver's ed school or something like that.
But it's overtly obvious that the one side of the room was never seen.
Yes. Oh yeah. It was always shot at that angle from both sides. It was always focusing on the left side of the room. In my spatial recognition,
I was going to say, yeah, that's how I was taking it too.
Yeah. And they never show anyone. There's never a seamless panning shot where someone walks to the front of the room. It's always done in hard cuts.
So I'm wondering if they just like set it up at two different times where they shot all the one shots from one angle and the room was only so big. Because, I mean, camera gear takes up a lot of room. You have lighting, you have sound, and you have the camera itself plus the crew. So I'm wondering if they had to like reset up the room each time they shot.
Yeah, so I would imagine it's either that or maybe they had the majority of the women who were cast to be background. They probably had them all show up on the same day and they banged out all the group scenes at once.
Yeah, so when you're making a film, the producer will go through the scenes and find out who is in what scene, and then they're going to only hire people on for certain scenes. And that's how you dictate what scenes you shoot in which order. That's going to cost you the least. So if Leanna Quigley is in, let's just shoot shits and giggles. If she's in 30 of the 50 scenes in the movie, we're going to shoot all 30 of those scenes at one time. So she's not just sitting around waiting and we're paying her to wait around. So getting those extras in there probably cost them a little bit of money because they were all pretty women and they could be doing something else with their time.
Well, and you have to look at the time, and this came out, I think, in 1990. So
1989.
89. Okay, thank you. So you got to look at the time too. You've got two pretty big headliners. I mean, this is a schlock movie. I mean, this is a bad movie. But at the time, you have one of the most well-known, well-loved scream queens from the 80s, Linnea Quigley, and then you have probably one of what I can only understand to be one of the biggest porn stars of the time, 70s and 80s, which is Ginger Lynn. I mean, that's where their budget went.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it makes sense, exactly like what you said. They had to shoot around their schedule because they can't have talent like that. I mean, that's big talent for this type of movie for them.
Correct.
They can't have them sitting being bored or frustrated.
Or just losing out on other work. So you need to pay them every minute they're on the set. So yes. But let's get outside. Let's get outside the classroom to the training field. Let's talk about the training field.
We've learned the classroom style. We know the pressure point. So now we can go and we can do trainings. And I think the first stop, I remember the gun range the most, but I think there was one stop in between there where they were in like a wrestling class.
That's after that, but yes.
Okay.
Because first they start off like with the extreme wide shot because they wanted to show you off how epic this field training was, where they had 2 sets of tires that you had to run through and a couple pieces of wood to hurdle over.
You got to watch out for those tires.
Man, oh my God, they were tired later on. And that's when Dwayne is laying on the ground as women are running over him. And when I noticed that all the women were running in high heels.
Yes, of course. I mean, the Vice Academy, Jay, is primarily an academy where you need to wear big stilettos, because you're majority of the time going to be undercover as a prostitute.
Right, obviously.
That's Vice Academy.
And
Everybody knows that.
This was the first scene where I realized that Dwayne isn't just a dumb dude. He's going to rape someone.
Oh, yeah, he's a sex offender. Absolutely. He's laying on the ground. And not only is he... So, okay, they're running this obstacle course. The teacher, who could just as easily be standing on the ground in the obstacle course and have a much better viewpoint of how her class is doing in training, is standing in some fucking raised pillbox watching them from afar, and Dwayne is laying on the ground at the tires on his back, looking up as the girls run over him. Now, mind you, they could have all avoided his gaze.
Yes.
But they willingly did that. They willingly ran over him.
Yeah. They could have just stepped to the side or kicked him or anything. My favorite part of this scene right here, and I know it's a small little insignificant thing, but when the teacher was standing in that little crow's nest box that's literally about 6 feet off the ground.
Yes. Crow's nest,
I was thinking like, wow, they built that thing for this scene because it was that important. And then when she started climbing down, I'm like, nope, they added electricity to that box. They found that. That is at a high school. So that is not built for this movie.
Oh, no, but they thought, hey, it's there, let's use it.
Let's use it. I mean, as a low-budget filmmaker, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for better production design by finding it.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely used what they had in every way they could. It's definitely if they were farm-to-table cooks, they're butchering the whole pig and they're serving it to you, whether you like it or not.
Speaking of pigs, let's move on to the gun scene.
Oh, God.
Now, after you fire the warning shot, the actual shot you fire next is the one that counts. I prefer to aim for between the eyes.
I have fired 2 firearms in my life. I know better than what these people did in this scene.
This is usually when I cringe in movies because I grew up around guns. I grew up in a very military family. And whenever anyone like misuses a gun, not like misuses it, but like the sound effects, the use of the fake gun, things like that, it sends my skin crawling.
Oh, this is bad. This had to drive you nuts.
It was constant shivers down my spine because one, she wasn't aiming anywhere toward the target, but the first thing was that she was aiming into traffic.
Yes.
Like there was a target and there's like cars driving by in the background, and then she just shoots randomly.
You have 6 shots here. Let's see if you can make them count.
Right. Well, her first shot was a misfire, and she got no repercussions for that misfire. Everybody just kind of screamed, and then the teacher was like, just shoot the gun. Like, the teacher added no help. The teacher just told her to keep doing it, and she might get better.
Sorry. Go on. Keep trying.
So she misfires the first round and almost kills somebody.
Yeah. She hits a dog.
Keep trying. You'll eventually hit a target.
Yeah, then she shoots a dog. She shoots a guy. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I heard that, and she goes, sorry.
Sorry, mister.
Yeah.
But then she shoots the dirt, and it ricochets off the dirt like 3 times.
The earth is made of metal. I don't know if you knew that, dude.
Apparently, I didn't.
But then here's what wows me, okay? So everybody's ducking for cover. She's not getting any help. They actually tracked the gunshots, which, I mean, she said you have 6 rounds. And by God, she used 6 rounds. So I give them props for that. But, so she has 5 misfires. And then the 6th one, she gets a fucking headshot. Mm-hmm. And everybody cheers like she meant to do that.
1 out of 6. Well, at least it's better than last time.
And we only saw one person get training. There was no There was no group shot of everybody lining up with a firearm and practicing shooting at a target. There was one girl with a group standing behind her, and when that scene was over, we then jumped to wrestling.
Yep. And then we get another boob joke
with Dwayne's
face against Shawnee's boobs.
Yes.
And he's not really trying to fight back, so the teacher comes over and uses it for another pressure point nut job joke.
And honestly, with how many dick shots they take in this movie, I'm really surprised they didn't use the opportunity when Dwayne is laying on the ground in the obstacle field. Nobody stepped on his junk.
Not once.
They had a prime, like, you have all these dick jokes, and you missed the most obvious one. Like, that's just...
And Andrew, I think this movie does not need more dick jokes.
No, this is... And they're not even funny. It's just like, ha, you got kicked in the balls again. Like, and not even in a funny way, in a really forced way.
And I think that's it, is like the filmmaker, I think Rick Sloan and the writers were all like, dude, this is going to be funny. Dick jokes are always funny. Like, it's on Americans' Funniest Home Videos. People fucking love this stuff. And every hit was like, it was a groan. It wasn't like ooh, I'm so glad I'm not him getting kneed in the nuts. It's like, stop. Let's move on.
There were so many things that they set up. They're like, this is going to be so funny. Looking at it now, I mean, I'm almost 40. If I was younger, if I was in my teens and I would have seen this on USA Up All Night.
On USA Up All Night.
I bet I would have been in love with it. And everything I wanted. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Right.
But looking at it through the lens of an almost 40-year-old, the jokes that they went for are fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Like, they're really creepy.
Speaking of which, let's move on to the whore painting scene.
Yes. My favorite, I think this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because it's so stupid. So they've done their gunshot training. Don't worry about the criminals that escaped. We don't need to look for them. Let's go and let's learn more. So they go back to the classroom, and the teacher pulls out a fucking disguise kit. I mean, it is a briefcase of makeup.
I'm not selling this makeup. This is a demonstration of what you may need when you go undercover.
Right? That was a disguise kit, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, the one guy has to make the comment, well, I don't really use that often.
Really, I never seem to find a use for it.
But so, what I liked about this, she was explaining, hey, you have to be quick with putting on your makeup. But then this next line, as she was explaining that, this made me laugh out loud so hard because the way she said it was so musical.
Oh my God, yes.
She just like danced on it. It's like, she tells him very point blank, hey, you want to be quick. You want to make sure you're putting on your makeup fast.
Now remember, time is everything. No pimp is going to wait an hour for his whore to put on her face.
Like, she said it like, I'll be down in 5 minutes for dinner.
It felt Disney-esque. It felt like Snow White was coming off to like wish the dwarves a wonderful day of work and remember, little dwarves, no pimp will wait while a whore puts on her makeup. And then like little birds fly down and shit.
Like, and you would think that these people in a police academy would have a little more better candor about talking about these people, these people they're impersonating. I don't think they're going to call themselves, I'm dressing up like a whore today. So she then spins the Linnea Quigley, or no, the other one around in the chair, Ginger Lynn, and she just waves a makeup brush at her face, which we can't see her face, but the teacher just waves a magic brush for a couple of minutes, and someone is timing her with a stopwatch.
21 seconds.
21 seconds it took her to put on makeup. And not only did they get her makeup on, but they teased her hair out, so it's really big in 21 seconds.
21 seconds? Now, let's see what she looks like.
This chick looked like she put her finger in a light socket.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's pick up the pace a little bit here because I think we're dragging.
Oh, sorry.
Our beta tape is running out.
Oh shit. Okay, let's burn. We don't want that tape to run out on us. So, anyways, long story short, they teach them how to do whore makeup really fast, and it's absurd.
Yeah, it's absurd. So they're gonna go out for the night. Our heroes are gonna go out for the night to have fun, but Ginger Lynn is like, no, you gotta keep working and keep getting your arrests. And this is also when we learned that every Vice Academy student needs to make 10 arrests to graduate.
Yes. And you
And
think,
we have no idea how long the program is. We have no idea how long they've been in it for. It's just arbitrary.
Yeah, none of that really matters. But we do learn when graduation is. And I'm not going to lie. It's fast. It's coming up quick. It's coming up quick.
It's kind of like Real World and Thanksgiving. Like, you never know it's going to be this week, and then you look at the calendar, it's like, shit.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, fuck, I got to do stuff. And that's what we kind of learned. So everybody's quota of 10 arrests is due, like, they didn't really put a time frame on it. We know it's coming, but to put our time frame on it, it's due this week.
Well, it was due in like 3 days, but they didn't say that. Like, later on, they say it's due tomorrow.
Yes.
And everyone's like, you're right, it's due tomorrow. I'm like, how the fuck did this not come up before? But anyway, I'm digressing. So the girls are about to go out for a wonderful night of fun, and Ginger Lynn's like, no, I'm going to go out and get arrests. So they draw up a piece of paper that says, what does it say on the back?
It says Vice Cop.
Okay, so very plain as day, Vice Cop. And they tape it to the back of Ginger Lynn's hair, which is hard to do. Like, Leanna kind of pushes on it for a little bit.
Oh, dude. Not only did they put it on her back or on her hair, they did it in front of a mirror where she could see exactly what's happening.
And she leaves, and they do this snicker. And this is where I start to realize that I don't think Leanna quickly realizes she's in a talkie. I think she thinks all of her movies are vaudeville, like 1920, 1930 silent films, because she is overacting the shit out of every reaction. She is the black cop from Samurai Cop.
Yes.
She has the woo kind of face. And when she's laughing at seeing Ginger Lynn out there trying to be a whore and calling her dad and say, Daddy, no one's thinking I'm a whore. And Daddy's like, oh, you keep it up, pumpkin. You keep working that whore in. And that's a good father.
I don't understand it, Daddy. I have been out here for over 3 hours, and no one has even come up to me.
Keep at it, pumpkin. We'll get him.
He was really encouraging of that. And that, again, based on the themes that they brought up in this movie, it makes me a little nervous of what else they were implying there. Between the relationship of the police chief and his daughter.
Did not think about that.
They we'll get to the other themes that they brought up and made jokes about that were tasteless, and they thought that they were going to be really funny and they weren't. But this is just another one of those where it's like, you're encouraging your daughter and promoting her to do this. Like, that's fucked up.
So then we see Leanna Quigley and her friend Shawnee walking down some street. I've seen this street in other movies before. It's obviously Los Angeles.
Was it
from porno district?
Yeah, is that the one from Taxi Driver?
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah,
I've seen it in ton. Actually, no. Taxi Driver, I think, took place in New York.
That was New York. Okay, that's what I thought.
So this is obviously Los Angeles, and they're walking down the street, and like they're walking down the street for a long time. It's like the camera's on them a long time, and all I'm thinking of is like you got to hit that 89-minute mark. Got to hit that time frame, so just add more into this. And then when they finally stop, they hear whimpering around the corner, and then here's where the plot actually starts. So I think everything up until now was supposed to be Act 1, but here's the inciting incident. Like if you were to draw the sword from the stone, this is the story wheel going into motion here.
Yes.
They run around the corner and they find...
Hey, are you all right?
What happened to you?
Leave me alone.
Let us help you.
How can you help me?
We're cops.
Sure you're cops.
We're still in the academy, but we can help you. Just tell us what happened to you.
Who, Andrew?
Cherry Pop.
My name is Cherry Pop.
And it's Cherry Pop is a girl who is she just got the shit kicked out of her. Her face is all beat up and she's crying in the corner. And she throws out the weirdest fucking humble brag.
I ran away from home when I was 15 and became one of the highest paid porno queens.
I don't know why. So she just says, I'm Cherry Pop. I ran away from home when I was 13 and I became one of the highest paid porno queens ever. Like, why would you humble brag that?
With a name like Cherry Pop, no wonder. No, that's not my real name.
But her delivery was so... I hate keep going back to this, but I think delivery is so important, especially when you're talking about backstory and really horrible things happening to you.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, it's utterly fantastic.
To make it even creepier, she's an underage porno queen. They said that she, multiple times, that she's 15. So she's a 15-year-old who is the highest paid porno queen. Okay, first of all, there's a lot of wrong in this right now. This is where the joking and the themes of this movie go from like, haha, that's funny, to like, oh, that's fucking gross.
Yes.
And they really ride this. So okay, she's got all this money from her movies, but she wants to get out of the industry by making, I can only assume, a porn-themed exercise video called Boning Up with Cherry Pop.
I recently tried to get out of the porno business, or at least my own exercise video, Boning Up with Cherry Pop. But the people I made the pornos for didn't like it. They said, stop making these tapes.
But like the best part was she had the VHS on her.
And she, like, when she said it, she pulled the VHS up with the cover just to accentuate the point, like, see, it's made. I have it right here.
like that is her dream. Again, the timing was perfect there. And I think it's actually funny. Like, that felt more like Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yes.
Like that little scene in the dumpster alleyway felt like Kentucky Fried Movie. It was very tongue-in-cheek. It was very funny. And I don't know if it was supposed to be.
Who did this to you? Was it one of the actors?
No, not the actors. The director hired someone to do this to me. And now I'll never work again.
I don't think it was. I think it was supposed to be like. I think that was an emotional part of the movie. Like, I think they were hoping that the viewers would go, "Oh man, what a sad life she's led."
15-year-old girl. That's so sad.
But then she proceeds to have to clarify that her real name, is not Cherry Pop. I don't think anybody questioned that it was your real name. Like, and
okay, Dr. Pepper, let's move on.
Introducing herself to Cherry Pop opened up a word that they use like they just learned it. And that was the way they used the word pornos. Why did they use porno so much? It's like they just learned, like, oh, that's what that's slang for?
Okay, obviously this is the inciting incident. They realize that they want to track down this black market porno, illegal young age porno ring. And that is their job. So like they introduce like the other girls in the class are doing like a mariachi gang war thing.
And we're going to try and shut down a Mexican donkey show.
There goes my weekend.
Yeah, and one was looking into phony roller derby matches. What the fuck?
Yes.
Does that mean like you show up and no one's got roller skates and they're just like standing there? Like what is a phony roller derby match?
Yes, girls. We're going undercover to investigate phony roller derby matches.
Well, I hope those weeks of practice come in handy.
I think they said foamy. So like everyone's padded very well.
Or it's like mud wrestling but with foam.
Oh.
For this type of movie.
Mm-hmm,
Foam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like with packing peanuts?
Yes. Oh yes. They stick to you because of static.
Oh my God, that's the worst. Anyway, so
they tell their idea to the teacher.
Boning up with Cherry Pop. I just can't get over it.
Or at least my own exercise video, Boning Up with Cherry Pop.
So they give their idea to the teacher, and the teacher says, "Oh, I have some equipment I'd like to give you."
Some equipment. I thought the teacher hated her, so I thought she was trying to make her fail with this equipment. But when she started showing it to her, I was like, "Oh, she's trying to help." So maybe she's not just such a horrible person.
But what, like, My question is, why did she have this equipment that readily available?
So she opens up the whore's bag.
There is one other thing you can use. It looks like a horse purse, but look inside.
It is a horse purse.
No. Look at this.
It's one of those lines that goes down in movie history, Andrew, that
yes.
they you quote around the bar from time to time or in a mixed company. That looks like a horse purse. Well, in fact, it is a horse purse. Thank you for noticing.
But it had three things, and they did use them in the movie. For a little bit, I didn't think that they would. I thought they were going to get introed and forgotten.
Yeah.
But one was...
So what were the three things?
So the first thing that she gives them is a resume. It was a pre-typed resume for a porn actress, which she then wrote a name on.
What's that? It's your cover. I'll just type your name on this phony resume, and you'll be all set. There. Just stick a picture of yourself on the back.
Thank you, Miss Devonshire.
We'll get more on that later.
And she's supposed to attach her photo to the back.
Yes, correct. The second thing was a lipstick that plays gunshots ricocheting. Apparently, there's a very massive speaker in this very, very small lipstick container. Because when you take the lid off, it just sounds like gunfire.
Looks like a lipstick. It may look like a lipstick, but watch. Simulated gunfire.
And then the third thing was earrings, and you can talk into one earring to talk to people, and the other earring you could listen.
Oh, what's that? It's a portable radio, but combined with these earrings, it's also a receiver and transmitter. You can talk into this earring for help and listen from this one.
Well, and there was also the Banaka that made a siren noise.
Oh, that's right, the Banaka. I forgot about the Banaka that made the siren noise.
Now, watch this.
Wow.
Holy shit. Should have named her Z instead of Q.
Oh, man. I swear to God, whoever did the sound effects bought that record. They used the shit out of that. That is the $500 car flip from Troma.
Dude.
They used the hell out of that sound effects machine.
Any questions?
Does it come in any other colors?
My favorite thing is that you gave someone an earring with a microphone and a headpiece. So first of all, you don't need to talk into an earring because the microphone should just pick that shit up.
It should, but it's 1989.
Yeah.
It's very high-tech technology, Andrew. Just need to emphasize that.
But how is the person going to... How is the person going to hear them if the earring is not in her ear canal? It's in her ear lobe.
Nanobots.
Okay, that answers it.
I think nanobots are the modern movie equivalent to magic.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
And it makes perfect sense.
And it makes sense, yeah. So they go to the porno district, the LA porno district, and they pull up in a very non-conspicuous van, which is parking in the middle of the fucking street.
A non-conspicuous police issue van.
Yes. And what did the no. We're not there yet. I got confused with further on. This movie's very deep, Andrew.
There's a lot of layers.
The Criterion release of this has an amazing documentary with it that really breaks it down.
I'm still glad to know that Vinegar Syndrome did a remaster of it.
I actually am. The Criterion one was a joke, but
no. Well, Vinegar Syndrome is pretty much Criterion for shit.
It absolutely is, and they produced amazing stuff. So I'm kind of interested to see what came on this disc because we just had the VHS.
Yeah, we got nothing. We just got the movie in all its glory.
Yeah, not even previews. A little disappointed by that.
Yeah, right?
So he goes into the porno office after some confusion on how to work a door.
Yes, and she did bring the resume.
Yes, she brought the resume.
She did bring the resume.
So she gives it to the talent scout, who this is where I think some of the humor is supposed to be.
Oh,
But again, I love Leanna Quigley. But again, her reactions are just so vaudevillian.
Yes,
that it takes me out of the moment.
I think it's perfectly okay to love the movies and love the actress of of these movies that made up a lot of just so much of the schlock folder. So much of these bad movies. She's in so many of them, but you don't have to like her as an actress. I don't think she's that good, but it's just she's in movies that make me laugh.
Agreed. Her work makes me very happy.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not good, it's not bad, it just is, and that's all that it needs to be.
Correct.
But there's a lot of stuff going on in this room that we should pick apart really quickly. So she's interviewing for her first porno gig, and there are posters on the wall of the room. One of the posters is for a movie called Night of the Loving Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the other poster, this thing, okay, it's called Nightmare of the Lost Whores. And the artwork, have you ever seen those, like, the tie posters for, like, Terminator? And you're like, this art is terrible. None of this is in the movie. What the fuck is going on? That's essentially what this poster looked like. It's two women gripping what I can only assume is a chimney.
Is that what's happening in the poster?
I think so. It's just a metal rod, it looks like. And there's no other context.
This was my favorite part of the film, and I wanted to wait to bring it up to later, but I have to talk about it now. The painting looked like it was done by like a child on Adderall, and it's so bad. And like, I understand it was painted like minutes before that scene was shot.
Oh yeah.
It is. This is where I wish we kind of had like a visual representation of this. But if you're gonna watch this movie for anything, like, I am crying right now thinking of this.
Dude,
this poster art is glorious. It is as glorious as Chucky, the guy we're about to meet, his acting skills.
Oh God, Chucky, yeah.
Oh my God, the fucking painting, Andrew.
Dude, I wish I had a way to find a picture of it, other than like just going through and freeze framing the VHS.
Screenshotting it? Yeah.
But it just, like, so your senses are like overly inundated in this, in that you're looking at the background going, what the fuck are these posters? But then there's this clock on the wall, and I really want to talk about this clock for a minute. So there's a clock on the wall with the picture of a woman, and her legs are the hour and minute arms.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
It alerts you to the time every quarter hour in a very uncomfortable way. It's like, it's 9:30. Ugh. Like,
wait, did it say that?
Yes, it would tell you the time in like a very erotic way.
I didn't hear that.
It's 12 o'clock. Ooh. Like, it was a female voice, but it would alert you to the time erotically every quarter hour. That seems too much. Like, why would you need to know the time every 15 minutes?
It's a quarter past.
Yes, that's 100% exactly what it sounded like.
Oh my God, I am good.
I
have a future, Andrew.
You do. So your visual senses, your vision, your hearing, it's all inundated with just erotic garbage when you're in here. And then they read the resume, and this was the joke part. He's reading the casting guy's reading the resume, and he's asking her to tell her about her body of work, which, by the way, I wouldn't think you would need to bring a paper resume to a porn interview. I would imagine that if you had a history, there were movies that you could reference, and they're right there.
Now, granted, this was in the 80s when home video was still...
That's true.
In its in infancy. When did the home video really start? Like early 80s, maybe 82, 83?
Yeah, you're right.
So here's a time when VHS, I mean, this company was shooting on film. They were shooting on 16 millimeter film. So they were still putting money into this thing. So VHS, again, was not that accessible. And then again, at that time, VHS was all like porn VHS was like $90 to $100 a tape.
Oh, yeah. And it came in those ridiculously large...
The huge boxes that you couldn't hide from your friends. Yes,
yeah.
I remember very vividly.
So it's like, okay, so she brings this paper resume. The teacher wrote this resume. You think it's pretty credible.
I brought my resume with me. It'll show you what I do best.
Quite impressive.
Well, I like what I do, and I do it well.
So he's asking her, like, the things that she will and won't do. And she's like, well, I definitely won't do stuff with animals. And he's like, really?
Is there anything you wouldn't consider doing in a film?
Well, I don't do any animal acts.
Really? It says here that you've done quite a few in your picture. If I could talk to the animals, looks like you made it with half the zoo.
This was supposed to be a funny joke. And I was visibly cringing as they talked about this. And first of all, that teacher is so fucked up to put that on a resume.
What's more fucked up, that that's on there or that she didn't read it?
Right?
I also don't do any S&M.
Are you sure? According to this, you enjoy it. You've done everything imaginable in your picture. Beat me in St. Louis.
So she gets the job.
Surprisingly, the resume worked. Apparently, all of the things that were on the resume that said she did, that she didn't really do, no one cares about because, she's a willing applicant. And we got to meet Chucky in that interview process.
And Chucky is like the women are just fawning over him. I don't see it. He kind of looks like a plastic doll.
Yeah, and like Linnea is just, her character is just head over heels in love for this guy. She thinks he's so hot. She's not remembering that this is a porn star who is part of a porno ring for fucking underage women. Girls.
Correct. And she is just like head over heels. And it immediately, like any kind of hope I had of liking the main character, just left.
It's, based on how much Linnea is in the movie, she's the main character. However,
correct.
I still don't feel that she is. I don't feel like there's any real main character of this movie.
Okay. I mean, if we come down to it, I would say that the trio, Shawnee, Dee Dee, and Dwayne, are the main characters of the story because they are the protagonists. They're the ones we're following the story of. They're the ones who win at the end. So if you're going to say there's a main character, I would say it's these three.
Yeah, I'm with you. The way you explain it, that makes perfect sense.
So we're on the porn set. We're shooting the porn.
Yep. And this is where the teacher tells Linnea, well, if you want this sting to be successful, you have to catch people in the act.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to catch them in the act of fucking an underage girl before we can arrest them.
Right.
Okay. So they're on set. Chucky's getting ready. The casting agent's there. There's some weird looking director lady there who's really into demoralizing. Was that the word they used? Degrading.
Degrading. But like she talks to Dee Dee like she's like a pro advocate for women's rights.
Now, you've probably never worked for a woman director before. Things might be a little different than what you're used to. Sex films used to be about women on their knees in a peep show booth. Well, things aren't like that anymore. My films tell a story. All the women in my films play powerful characters that choose their sex partners. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Then take your places. Oh, and Chucky.
Yeah?
In the scene, I'd like you to degrade her as much as possible.
Yeah, she's like, you've never seen many porno sets with women directors. I'm pro-women. I'm going to degrade the fuck out of you. It's like, what? Wait, hang on.
Yeah, exactly. So Dee Dee starts feeling a little edgy, a little like she is not ready to do this because she's, trying to be a cop. So she leaves for a second. She says she needs to go run lines, which they make a cocaine joke, which I thought was pretty smooth. It was pretty well delivered.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
I'm a little nervous. It's It's been a while since I've done one of these. There's too many people in here. I think I'm going to go in the next room and read a few lines by myself. Where did she go?
She said she was nervous. She had to go to the next room and do a few lines.
Understandable.
And then she goes around the corner and looks up and finds, like, immediately, like in the plethora of different actresses they've had through here, she immediately finds the contract for Cherry Pop.
Yep.
And she pulls up the contract, and sure enough, her name is Cherry Pop on the contract, which is absolutely legally binding. And the next line, where it's supposed to say the business that the contract is representing, it says age 15.
That's my favorite.
It's jaw-dropping that not only is Cherry Pop admitting that she's doing this illegally, but the company is 100% in black and white, in contract form, saying that they are raping underage girls.
Yes, they have documented legal proof. Granted, it's unsigned from what I could see, but it is documented, legally binding proof that she is 15 years of age. And that's what we needed. So so she's got this binder. Dee Dee's got this binder. She's got the contract. She's ready to go. But where does she put that binder? Well, the first place she can find and think of is down her panties.
She shoves it right in her panties.
And then she goes, that won't fit. Like, she gives you that look of like, wow, I'm an idiot.
with the vaudevillian. Like, I think
Yes.
she grew up on, like, Tex Avery cartoons or something.
Dude, you gotta be right. Because, yeah, the facial expressions, it was like, oh, Linnea, you again with your brain.
My panties ain't big enough. Meh, meh, meh. So then we get back to the set, and here is where I had to fucking stop the movie because I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe.
Was it the couple, the partners listening to Severe Tire Damage, the hottest band in this world?
You want to hear the latest tape from Severe Tire Damage?
Severe Tire Damage? They're my favorite group.
Rocking out to that music, or was it the scene itself?
It was the dialogue that was given as soon as the director said action.
Who is it?
I'm a horny stud. Open up and let me in. I want to rape you until you split in two.
No, cut!
But, like, the aggression just, like, threw me off because it's like, oh, this is awful.
Yes, it's terrible. But the fucked up thing is, Linnea, or Dee Dee,
she straightens herself.
She's into it.
And she goes and answers the door, pulls the door off the wall.
Yes.
Because of the high production value. And it just he's like, what does he say? He says something like, I'm going to fuck you in half.
I want to rape you until you split in two.
It was very aggressive.
But yeah, so this whole time she's wearing her earphone earrings, trying to get her friend's attention to come in and help. And they're listening to Severe Tire Damage, which sounds like the best Muzak license-free music that they could possibly get.
Put it on. Turn it up.
And it is certainly sounds.
It is sounds.
Oh my.
But then she starts getting really into the porn scene.
Yes.
And here's what I've learned about Liana through this scene. She's really into full-clothed collar licking.
Yes.
Which is obviously the only thing that's happening in this scene.
Yes, absolutely. Because we cut away for any of the quote-unquote good stuff as we see our Linnea's partners going, oh shit, we should be listening to what's happening in the room.
And then they decide to come in, but we cut back to the porno set where they are done with the quote-unquote sex scene, still fully dressed.
And but more than anything, she went through with making the movie knowing what this was, and she fucking loved it.
Yes.
She loved it.
It was, amazing. So what happens then, Andrew?
Through the whole movie, as they're holding up cue cards for the actors to degrade each other more, the casting person and the director are talking about how they think Vice knows about their operation, just as Vice walks in and busts their operation. And then what got me is that the casting director stands up and says, "You lied to us." Talking to Dee Dee, Linnea Quigley. He says, "You lied to us. You never had sex with any animals."
You lied to us. You never had sex with any zoo animals?
Of course not, you fool. I'm appalled at the way you betrayed me.
That's the nugget that they're focusing on.
Yeah. Well, it's important. It's a good value system.
I guess if that's the hill you're gonna die on, I mean, wow. But then what's even more fucked up is as Vice is arresting everyone in the quote-unquote porno ring, she's granting pardons, she being Linnea Quigley, she's granting pardons to Chucky because she loves him.
Vice cop, I feel used and violated.
Shut up, Chucky.
Yeah? Well, I faked my orgasm for you.
Shut up. I might be able to grant you full immunity.
But then she kidnaps him, takes him back to her apartment, and fucks him again. No,
rapes him.
Yes.
So, and in this scene, not only does she love her collarbone being face pushed against in the previous scene, but here's where we learn that Linnea Quigley is very into having men rub her sternum. Not her breast or her stomach, her sternum.
Yes.
There's an uncomfortably long shot of her pulling the guy's hand into her sternum and just rubbing her sternum. And it got to the point where I was like, wow, are women really into this? When we get out of here, I kind of want to try that out. But yeah, so she's a cop. She's willingly participated in an underage porno ring. Yep. Took someone under custody and raped them.
And handcuffed them to like a sink in her bedroom or something?
Yeah, like under a sink.
Yeah, so it's... I don't understand her character, like, morally. Because she wants to be a cop and stop bad guys, but at the same time, at the first sign of a pretty one, she will immediately abduct and rape them.
What are we doing at your place?
You'll see.
What are you going to do to me now?
Time to get back to work. All right. Scene 2, take 1.
You've got to be kidding.
Again, it's, if you're watching this as a younger person going, I want Linnea Quigley to kidnap me and take me to her place and have sex with me. Sure.
We're right.
We're all thinking that. But through the lens of an almost 40-year-old, it's like...
Or anyone cognizant of the world around them. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Speaking of oh no's, let's move on to the next scene where we come back to the school, and for some reason, I don't know, a lot was happening here where I kind of gave up caring at this point. Even though I was enjoying my time watching it, I was having a blast laughing and enjoying the movie. I kind of stopped caring about the plot.
Yes, and to just do a quick 80,000-foot overview of what happens next, they go back to school. They brag to Ginger Lynn, who's the teacher's pet, about how they're going to be the teacher's pet now, because apparently that was a goal. They all wanted to be teacher's pet. They never addressed that. But they tell everybody what's going on. Then there's a huge fight that the teacher does nothing to stop between Linnea Quigley and Ginger Lynn.
Trash. Spoiled brat. That will be enough.
They roll on tires, and as they're on the tires and in the tires, the teacher says, "Watch out for the tires."
This scene is obviously the panty shot scene. Like this was designed to show panties.
Absolutely.
So the teacher comes in, breaks them up. announces to us, the viewer, that tomorrow is graduation.
You three realize that since you can't get a conviction on this case, I can't count it against your quota of 10 arrests.
That's not fair. We made the arrest.
But since tomorrow is graduation, I'll give you one last chance to make your quota. But you have to do it completely by the book.
Yep, it's tomorrow, and the quota's not met because the porno ring, they didn't go by the book for that one, so the arrests don't count.
So they need to hurry up and win the day and meet their quota. So, Andrew, what happens next?
You know, you got to get at least 10 people to arrest. You would hope that you could find, a bank robber circuit or something, a liquor store criminals. But, this town is a very perverted town and a depraved town. And just lucky enough for them, now that they've brought down that big porno ring, we've got another ring coming up. We got a prostitution ring we got to take down. And we got to take it down in the most easily foreseeable way ever.
And with the few amount of set pieces as possible.
Yep, absolutely. So they realize we got to take down this prostitution ring to get these people done. But what they don't know is that across town at the quote-unquote police academy, Cherry Pop has shown up, and she's ready to throw the book at the porno ring.
I heard on the streets that you arrested some people making a porno movie.
It's true. I was just about to let them go. Because of the technicality, though, we can't get a conviction against them.
It won't be necessary. I'm willing to testify against them.
Yep, she shows up, tells the chief of police back in his rent-a-wear outfit, and this is where the teacher of the classroom really shines. And why do you think she shines in this scene, Andrew?
The reaction shot she gives, it's fucking amazing. Like, this is Samurai Cop. This is like the do you want to fuck me? Bingo. Like, this is that scene. His facial expressions, but she's like smelling, like making a face like she smelled a really bad fart, and she's holding it, like she's holding that face, and there's no reason for her scowl. Cherry Pop is saying, I'm willing to testify against the people in the porno ring because I'm underage. I'm willing to testify and put them in jail forever. And the teacher looks pissed.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason.
Yeah, just like up until now, I wasn't aware that the teacher had it out for our main characters.
Yeah,
it was at this point that it was obvious, obviously, the script writer was like, well, fuck, we need to have another villain in here. We need to have something like in Police Academy. What was his name? The grouchy police, not the head guy, but the one who had it out for Mahoney.
Yes. The little angry guy.
Yes, essentially that she is him.
Yes, absolutely she is. Absolutely she is. Which is weird. Because everybody wanted to be her friend just a minute ago, and now, but she doesn't like those three, because what? They're not kiss asses? I don't know. They really don't give us a reason.
Because they play by their own rules, Andrew.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But nonetheless, they're gonna get those. They're gonna work hard to get those 10 arrests.
They're gonna get those 10 arrests, and here's where the movie kind of veers off reality. Here's where the movie veers off reality.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was 10 arrests per person.
No, it is apparently a cumulative total.
A cumulative total of 10 arrests per group.
But what if you weren't in a group?
Then, just like in high school, you had to do the brunt of the work instead of laying it on that one smart chick. So,
dude,
yeah,
okay, so they know where the prostitution ring is. It's in a laundromat.
And outside of a movie theater.
Yes. An adult movie theater.
So they go up to who I swear to God, I thought her name was Tentacle.
I did too, and then they said it a couple times. I had to listen. It's Tinsel.
Tinsel, fantastic prostitute name.
Absolutely, and she is in the spawn point for all additional prostitutes.
Because as soon as they arrest her, another one just walks up and just takes her place.
She's like, well, this is my corner now.
I mean, the exact same spot. Like they had it lit and like focused on that exact spot. So
oh, yeah. They're like, we got one shot at this. We got to do it in 5 minutes. So,
and they used that 5 minutes because the dude can't take his hands off his collar the entire time.
If you want to catch a prostitute in the act, all you got to do is get them to name their price. That's it. In this movie, if they say I'm $40, arrest them.
Right. It's like going to McDonald's.
Yep. And that's
a sexy McDonald's.
And so they try to like make it like that's not what they're looking for. So like our boy Dwayne, you know, he's gripping his collar and he's beating around the bush.
Hi there. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Tinsel.
That's a pretty name.
And then our other girl, what's her name? Shasta McNasty? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, it's Shasta McNasty.
Yeah, Shasta McNasty. She comes up, so she starts to like start a bidding war.
Hi, how you doing?
He's doing fine. Hey, I'm busy, so why don't you find your own block?
On the prostitution by saying, I'll throw in a continental breakfast. So she's going to cook a continental breakfast for her John.
Listen, whatever she's charging you, I'll do the same and throw in a continental breakfast.
What? Hey, look, what are you looking for tonight? A good time or a short order cook?
So then it just escalates and it escalates and it escalates until the girl says, well, I'm $40, but I'll knock off $10, so I'm $30 for the night.
All right, I'll throw in a dozen donuts.
Please?
Whatever she's charging you, I'll do it for $10 less.
Well, how much are you?
Well, I'm usually $40, but I'll make an exception and do it for 30. What do you think of that?
And then so lax, Dwayne and Shasta at the same time go, you're under arrest, vice cops.
And they pull the guns out super slow, too.
Okay, we're vice cops.
You're under arrest.
What?
So slow. And then all the prostitute says is, hey, you tricked me.
Stinking piece of trash, you tricked me. You'll never win away with this.
Save it for the judge.
Oh.
But, like, I love how Shasta, like, leans a little to the side and points, like, a finger gun. Like, I was waiting for, like, a freeze frame with, like, Perfect Strangers to come up over. Like, it just was like the opening to a really bad sitcom. The way that they delivered the lines. Tinsel's friend, after Tinsel gets put in the back of the police license and commissioned rape van, her new friend spawns in the hooker spawn area. Her name is Sparkle, and the Dwayne and Shasta use the same tactic, and they get Sparkle to fall for it. You're under arrest, vice cops.
Hey, I'm $40. Do you want it or not?
Yeah, I want it.
You're under arrest. Hey, you tricked me. Honey, you must be good because you're not going to be spending much time out on the streets either. No!
Put her in the back of the rape van. So then all of a sudden, they're off-roading in the car with prostitutes in the back, falling all over the place as they drive on a very flat asphalt road.
I was kind of hoping whenever they would go, we would see the exact same situation again. Because, you know, how movies are supposed to compress time. Because we're not going to watch something in its entirety.
No.
So I was hoping they would go to a second location and do the exact same thing to 2 more prostitutes.
Yes.
Just so we can reach maybe that 91-minute mark.
No, we don't need to do that because you know what? You know what they find?
What did they find?
They find the laundromat.
Yes, they did.
Look, there it is. A laundromat posing as a front for prostitution.
Oh, no, they found it.
And literally the words that come out of the hooker's mouth are, oh no, they found it. Regarding their prostitution warehouse. So they go in. There's a bunch of hookers standing there. They arrest them all once they say, it's $150 for all of us. Throw them in back of the rape van. And then I'll let you tell what Dwayne does.
Okay, hold on. Before we get to this, Really quick, there's a poster in the background of this scene that says laundry aids.
Yeah.
And where Dwayne is standing in the room, my eyes go from his eyes exactly to the word AIDS. And it's exactly the type of advertisement I'd like to see when I enter a prostitution ring, is the visual representation of AIDS.
Dude, I thought the same thing. Like, I knew that they meant, like, laundry detergent.
Yes. But AIDS.
Yeah.
So Dwayne comes in a chic outfit and is straight out of Nightmare Sisters racist.
Because you gotta remember the disguise kit from earlier.
Oh, God, was that from the disguise kit?
Yes.
I didn't think about that. Okay. So he comes in a great school-approved, police-approved disguise of a chic Arab, and it is cringeworthy.
I think I need a special cover for this.
Hello, girls. I'm looking to party. I have lots of money. Yes.
How much are we talking about?
I am looking for a good rate, yes.
But that part right there, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so racist. And honestly, they're not the only culprit of this. I understand it was late 80s, early 90s. That type of humor was seen as okay.
Yes.
But,
it's like hearing the word fag in Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no.
It's like, I know I'm watching a sleaze movie, but I want to just be like, have some class. You know?
Yeah, right.
But
so they bust the women because that's what you do. You just handcuff one to the next one, and they all just walk really nicely out to the car.
Yeah. So and they put them all back in the back of the van, and they're good to go. I had made a note that it was kind of like shooting prostitutes in a barrel.
So I'm at a loss. What the hell happened next? I think I was laughing too hard at this scene.
So, all right, let me take you back to the Shire here. So they get in the van to go to the warehouse because the laundromat, I forgot, was just one area. Prostitutes are organized and they have full warehouses. So all the prostitutes they've arrested are in the back of the van. They're driving to the warehouse, but as they drive to the warehouse, they get hijacked or something, and the prostitutes take over because a tire iron was left in the back of the van with all of the arrested prostitutes. Absolutely. So all of the prostitutes start trying to drive the van at one time. Like they're all reaching for the wheel at one time, and they flip the van. Now, apparently, that doesn't matter because they all end up at the warehouse okay. And they have the van at the end of the movie. But I don't want to take you to Mordor yet. So we get into the warehouse. Just before Linnea goes into the warehouse, Chucky shows up. And she tells Chucky that she loves him. And he says, yeah, I kind of like you too. And that's like the big romantic moment.
Oh, Chucky. So glad you're here.
You know, I don't know why I'm doing this for you.
There's something I wanted to tell you.
What is it?
Well, this is kind of awkward for me. Even though I only find you attractive on a strictly physical level, and I could never take you home to meet my parents, I still think I love you.
I sort of feel the same way about you.
And right before that, she actually calls him and says, I need you here. And he's like, bitch, I'm still handcuffed under your sink. And she's like, I left the key for you.
She was like, you haven't found that yet?
And then he just shows up.
Oh, yeah, how am I supposed to help? You left me handcuffed to the bed.
I left you the key under the telephone. I thought you'd find it by now.
When the lights go down, it goes up.
Great. Thanks a lot. Now I'll see if I can walk after last night.
Yeah, like this is the definition of Munchausen syndrome. Is that it? That's the sickness one. Adventures of Baron Munchausen syndrome?
From the director of Time Bandits and Brazil, a new movie. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, a true story. We've got the film to prove it.
It is the definition of Baron Munchausen syndrome. Yes, it is the escapism. You're trying to escape, Andrew. You're trying to remember your past as being bigger than it actually was.
Stockholm syndrome. That's
So they're at the warehouse. Shasta McNasty and Dwayne are being held captive.
That's right. We don't know how they were captured. I don't think though.
Nope. But now we see the queen bee of the fucking prostitute porno ring.
Yeah, and you're not saying that like she's the head honcho. Her name is fucking Queen Bee.
You're the two that thought that you could crack my crime ring. But you didn't expect to run up against the Queen Bee, now did you? Who? The Queen Bee.
We supposed to know you?
The Queen Bee. The one who runs all the inner city drug and prostitution rings.
Don't recognize the name.
I thought you said they were cops. Well, that's what I thought.
She has a very massive beehive hairdo, is holding a jar of honey, and
Black and white nipples.
Black and white nipples.
Black and yellow nipples, sorry.
And has a stinger on her butt.
That's made out of foam core.
Yes. She is literally dressed as a queen bee, and she is the leader of the prostitute gang, which, quite frankly, is fucking amazing.
I kind of was hoping for the teacher of the police department to be the true big bad guy. So when I saw Queen Bee,
orchestrated by her,
right,
she was
because
so
she kept
prepared.
Yes.
I thought it was gonna be Ginger Lynn.
Oh, okay. I mean, that would have made sense too. But no, here's a random new character that we've never heard of.
In the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. So this is where Dee Dee kind of takes control, and she has a tape recorder all of a sudden. And Chucky, being the good, child rapist he is, can read a script just off camera to talk into the tape recorder to make it sound like the police. Because obviously they need a tape recorder for this.
Now, I want you to make a tape recording of you sounding like a police officer arresting everybody. Now, go on. Try it.
This is the police chief. You're all under arrest.
No. Make it sound more convincing. Use the voice that you use in your movies.
This is the police chief. You're all under arrest. Put your hands in the air. You have the right to remain silent. Don't move or we'll shoot. We have the building surrounded. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Don't try to escape. We're sending for backup units.
That was great. Where'd you learn to say all that?
Oh, I've been arrested a few times.
Because, the tape recorder that they record into and promptly leave in a random bin in the warehouse as they run away from it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That one seemed a bit weird. So when they start using the actual tools, like when the Queen Bee and her whores are running around trying to, I think they're trying to escape the place they work at, but they don't know the place.
It's a honeycomb of mazes.
It is a honey, and they said that it's a honeycomb of mazes, but they only went down one row of shelves.
Yes,
and they all stopped in the same way. Oh my god.
They finally bring in the gadgets. Remember those? The lipstick, the banaka. There's so much going on in here.
It's a very deep Christopher Nolan-esque film.
Yes. So they unleash the lipstick and play shots, and Queen Bee says,
"Put your hands in the air. Don't move or we'll shoot."
It is a trick. They wouldn't shoot with two ostriches.
This is no time to fix your makeup.
Oh my God! I forgot. They're rookies. They'll shoot at anything.
Now the place surrounded. You have the right to remain silent.
What do we do now, Queen Bee?
This place is a honeycomb of mazes. They'll never catch us.
So then they start running around the honeycomb hideout, and they get stuck in a janitor's closet, it looks like. And then
Yes.
they come out and they get back stuck in the janitor's closet.
Yes.
And they do this gag so that when the next time they all file into a room, they don't notice that they're all inside the back of a van.
Yes, they did not realize that because the van was pulled up to the opening, so none of them realized I'm running into a van. I have to mention, there's if you're not familiar with film or anything, there's a principle. It's called Chekhov's gun. If you show the gun in the first act, which I don't know if we had a gun in this act or in Act 1, but if you set up a gun in the first act, it has to pay off in the third.
It has to go off.
It has to go off. Thank you. So I propose that they set up Chekhov's tits in this. So if you recall, since we've been talking at the beginning of our Betamax tape, one of the tactics used to subdue a criminal in the beginning of the movie, that criminal being Dwayne, was for Shasta McNasty to reveal her tits to him. And then she took the gun. That exact situation took place, or AKA went off, in this act of the movie.
Hey, how did you get untied?
It's a professional secret.
Oh, yeah? Well, what kind of professional secret have you got for this?
And she won. It worked. The tactic worked. Chekhov tits work. It was a win for me.
I think it was a win for all of us, Andrew.
Yeah. And then they ended up in a van.
So they bring all the... and by the way, one of the people running around the warehouse was Snake from the opening drug deal scene.
Oh, that's where he comes in.
Hey, sorry, Snake. I just want to make sure I wasn't followed.
That's where it all connects back.
So Queen Bee was the big bad, and everybody was working for her.
And everyone was working for her. Yeah.
That prostitute ring has a lot of stuff going on. Porno rings, drug rings. You know, it makes a lot of sense.
How much more can you get me?
As much as you want, babe.
Don't call me babe. I told you about that before. I hate it.
Gotcha. No problem. I remember you telling me that before.
They bring all the prostitutes to okay, so graduation is
now,
let's say, commencing.
There you
let's
go. Yeah.
say it's happening. All the students, the background extra students, walk in the flimsiest graduation outfits they could possibly think of making, because they saw a graduation once in a movie. And they all sit down with this horrible happy graduation sign that they picked up from Party City hanging on the wall in the background, which some amphitheater in the middle of nowhere. I guarantee it's at the same high school that the training took place at.
100%.
And the chief of police is there, and the teacher is there, and they're like, congratulations, you are graduating. That's my best acting right there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Congratulations on your commencement. Graduating the Vice Academy is an honor that only we can bestow upon you.
So then the van with all the whores, I just keep wanting to say whores over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because no pimp is going to wait for his whore.
No.
They rush into the scene, like the van rushes into the scene, and they're like, well, we have more arrests to make.
This is the greatest sting operation I've ever seen. Better than anything my own police officers have ever done. Better than anything my own daughter is capable of.
Daddy, how could you?
All of a sudden, as the Chucky comes in and Dee Dee comes in and all our heroes come in, Cherry Pop comes back in. All her PTSD is gone. All her bruises are gone from yesterday.
Yes.
And she's obviously on cocaine or something. She is fucking bubbly. She is happy. Her workout video went platinum in a day.
Hi, you guys. Cherry Pop! I have good news, too. My exercise video just went platinum.
Yes, movies go platinum. That's
Yeah.
how that works.
They went platinum, and they all started jumping up and down and dancing. And they were really happy to be graduating, but then the teacher called it out and says, you only have 9 people here. And the chief of police is like, oh, I'm sorry. The rule is 10.
Just as I thought.
What?
There are only 9 people in the band. Their quota was 10, and they failed to meet it.
I'm afraid she's right. The requirement is 10. I'm very sorry.
And then Chucky, being the stand-up pedophile he is, says, you can count me too.
You forgot to count me. It is 10.
Chucky, what are you doing?
Be quiet. How are you?
Why aren't you in the back with the rest of them?
They let me sit in front on account of good behavior.
Yeah. It's the hero thing to do, you know. When you make a living having sex with underage girls and, get raped by a vice cop. It's the only thing you can do to really show that you mean business.
Stockholm Syndrome is a bitch, Andrew.
Dude, like, and Linnea's like, oh, no, I love you. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? But then we find out, too, that other good news came with Cherry Pop's arrival.
What was that other good news, Andrew?
That because of her testimony, which already took place, they had enough evidence they needed to convict the porno ring people. So I believe that took them to 20 arrests.
Mm-hmm.
And that means they get to graduate. They did it. We made it.
God. It all came down to this.
It did. It was. They put it all on the line. They risked it everything.
But it paid off.
It did.
Because they went against the grain.
I mean, that's really everything there is left in the movie. I mean, that's really it. There's no more story.
Is there really money in making exercise videos?
Are you kidding? At this rate, I'll be able to retire at 18.
And then I think you brought up a really good point while we were watching it. The one person in this movie who is probably showed herself naked the most in her career did not get naked.
Yes, the real life porn star did not get naked. Because this was the movie that was supposed to start taking her seriously.
Maybe that is like do you think that was like the thing where she was like, okay, I'm not getting naked in this, but because I want to be taken seriously, I want to be a real actress.
Yeah, she's like, I want to try and pave the way, like, and do what like Sasha Grey did, even though Sasha Grey probably wasn't born when this was going on. But like, she really tried to go mainstream, and she did that by getting in a movie directed by Rick Sloan, who is also
produced and written and edited.
Yes,
yeah.
But he's also credited with having the 85th worst movie of all time, which is Hobgoblins.
Is it really?
Yes, that is the 85th worst movie of all time.
Who's ranking this?
I don't know. I don't know if I trust that. I mean, I feel like 85 is not low enough. Hobgoblins is nigh unwatchable, and I know it's on our list because we have it in the store. We know.
I was going to say, I saw it on the shelf.
Yeah, and there is a Hobgoblins 2, by the way.
Thank God.
So once
we can do a marathon.
Yes. But this movie, you know, we're talking about it now, you know, 20, 30 years later, whatever it is. And there have been multiple versions of Blu-ray releases on this movie. This movie, no matter how bad we shit on it, made a lot of money and was really, 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 really popular when it came out on USA Up All Night.
And it made 5 sequels.
5 sequels. And we have them all. They're all here. We can see them all. It's all
we can see them all at a distance, Andrew. We can see them over there.
Yes, it
doesn't mean they have to go into the VCR.
I think that they glow from space, if you catch my grift.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the great wall of the video store.
Yes. But this movie, this first movie, this won USA Network's B Movie Awards for Best Picture. For Best Picture.
Did it really?
Yes, and it was their highest. It was USA Up All Nights. It was their highest rated late night film when it first aired on cable TV. This was on cable. Wow. Now, granted, there's only like 10 seconds of tits, and it's really, it's Linnea and it's Shasta McNasty.
Yeah.
But this movie was so fucking popular, and I get it. Because if you think about who's watching USA Up All Night, it was me when I was like prepubescent and in my early teens.
It was young boys and men who had not graduated high school, even though they were in their 40s.
Yes, and this is everything you wanted to see. It was the
Absolutely.
right amount of sleaze, and the story was stupid, so you could laugh and stay up and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie became so successful for Rick Sloan that when he bought his house with the proceeds of this money, and he dubs his house the house that Vice Academy built.
Oh, God. Why aren't we making movies, Andrew?
Dude, it's because we know why that is. Pandemic.
One day. They should make a movie about us being trapped in here.
Yes. I agree.
Horrors.
Just being tortured.
So what was your favorite part of the movie? What was your silver lining shining moment?
Man. That's a tough one. If I'm being honest, but first things first, I'm an ultra biased Linnea Quigley fan. I love her movies. I thought she was great in this, even though, I know what to expect from her, and it was great. The best part of this movie, honestly, it had to be the laundromat scene.
You can have us all for $150.
Up against the wall. Spread them.
Say what?
We're halfway there.
What about the Johns?
You have to go to the bathroom?
No, now the laundromat is empty. Dee and I can take over and arrest some of their customers. Yeah, we can make our quota right here.
Get to it.
Yeah.
The laundromat scene is, it's racist and stupid and easy and wrong, but in all the right ways. I hate to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so true. I just smiled and laughed the whole time I watched that, just in absurdity. What about you, man?
I think my favorite part had to have been the poster for Night of the Lost Horrors, or the Undead Horrors. I'm so glad I'm remembering this. But the fucking painting of the two women who just looked like Down syndrome versions of David Lee Roth were just everything I've ever wanted.
And they were just screaming
in a movie. And I had no idea what was going on, but like that entire scene, every time it cut to that area of the room, I couldn't stop laughing.
Just lost it.
Absolutely lost it.
It was almost like a fever dream. You're just like, that's not really there. Oh my God, it is. That's a real thing. That's like a real poster. Oh my, wait, where did they find it? What's the backstory behind that? Is that real? Was it supposed to be real?
Andrew, I think we have we have killed our loneliness and our fear enough for the day, but we are still locked inside this hellish tomb until this whatever hell is going on outside is happening. We are still locked in here, so we still need to pass the time to make sure we don't go insane. So why don't you grab a bunch of tapes off the shelf? Here, give them to me. Give them to me.
Here, you come here. You take them. Here.
All right. So I'm gonna put them behind my back because it's better to show than to tell.
Yes.
All right. So I have two movies in my right. I have two movies in my hands. One on my right, one on my left. You are going to pick right or left. Ready?
It all rides on this. It all rides on this. Left.
Beyond Darkness.
Okay.
I haven't seen this one.
So I'll give you a little tidbit. I have seen half of this one before. I've been meaning to go back and finish it, but I'll give you a quick tidbit on this one. The reason why I pulled this one off of the shelf is because of its connection with a notoriously famous other movie. Horror movie that's really, really, really bad. It's actually known as being the best worst movie.
I'm listening.
So this movie it stars and the young main character, the young little boy from Troll 2, and it is actually written and directed by that same director of Troll 2. But I will say this, from what I have seen, it's pretty good.
I am down. Let's put this in the VCR now, Andrew. Now.
Yes.
Take it out of the box.
We might actually get some entertainment out of this one. But if Linnea Quigley shows up, I'm going to watch out.
You should. And speaking of watching out, all of you out there, if you can hear this, watch out for everything that's happening in the world right now. We hope you guys are keeping safe. And if you can hear us...
I hope someone hears this. I hope that you can reach out and connect. Our Betamax tape is looking low. I don't know how many tapes we've got left in us, but as next time, be kind, rewind, and hopefully you can reach out to us. You can what? It's almost out. Shit. Okay, you can reach us at